figure it out in 2003. Bob?
Thank you very much, and I would be remiss not to thank Colin for the very kind introduction and getting blown away by this group. It's been an honor. I've known Scott for 29 years. He's a pro's pro, an absolute gentleman, and he's been going through a lot with his family over the last, since June, and we're all praying and thinking of you every day, Scotty. Thank you. This is a great honor for me to do this kind of a representation of a special award to Tom Riordan. And Tommy, it's so appropriate that Tom is here with us tonight. Tom started in the game here. This is home for Tommy. He goes way back with Scott, and like Scott, Tom was a member of the New England PGA and is very proud of that, and it was a very important part of his life, and I'll tell you about it in just a second. So this spring at our We Met banquet, always one of the, you all know about the major honorees, the great golf professionals, celebrity professionals that we've honored, but we also have a wonderful student speaker, and a special highlight every year, but most especially this year, was the presentation of our Richard F. Conley Jr. Distinguished Service Award to Tom Riordan. And the Conley Award is for somebody who does an awful lot of things for We Met, and a nonprofit can't exist without wonderful contributions by volunteers and board members and other friends of the organization. So I'm going to go over a couple of the special remarks that we did last spring at the banquet. And kind of what makes it so special is when we announced the fact that we were going to be honoring Tom, so many of his friends from across his industry, and he makes great friends in so many things that he does at his Wild Colonial Boys. So we had 200 special guests and sponsors and tables, and it was like absolutely wow. And I had to do a presentation that night, and there were so many times folks got up and down that it was hard, but well deserved. So it's what Tommy's all about. Tommy started in the game of golf here at this club. He was a caddy, really an outstanding caddy. Became a very fine golfer. Went on to Boston College with the help of a We Met scholarship, and two of his brothers were also We Met scholars, and Tommy was captain of the golf team at BC. And after BC, Tom went down to New Seabury, where he was the caddy master first, and then he became the head professional, and he was really outstanding. And he's real proud of the fact that he worked in special clinics with some of the top teachers in the game, Davis Love II, Bob Tosky, a couple of other names will come to me in just a second. And then a member of the club saw Tom's great ability and hired Tom to the national sales staff of Izod Lacoste. Tom rose up through the ranks quickly and headed up a large region of the Southeast where he was in New Orleans, and did a tremendous job in that. He caught the preppy craze. He sold a lot of alligator shirts in those years. And that was really good. So then he came back to Boston, and he formed his own manufacturer's rep firm. And amongst the many products that he has handled are special golf lines of Payne Stewart, Raymond Floyd, Steve Stricker, and David Ledbetter. So he's real happy about that. Tommy came on our board in 2001. It was a really good day for We Met. Tom, of course, was so close to Peter Maish, recommended Peter to us. Tom has been on our banquet committee since 2001. He's brought in many sponsors, many individual tables, also brought in a lot of special, the things that we have in our silent auction. He's been very involved in endowed scholarships. He put the deal together for the Billy Maish Scholarship. That's Peter's father, and also when his dear friend Peter Dalton died a couple of years ago, just an incredible job putting together an award in Peter Dalton's name. In any nonprofit, we have to keep our expenses down, and pro bono items are enormous to us, and Tommy's helped so many times over the years with getting us either pro bono or items that are real important to what we need to do at great discounts. He also interviews our scholars and brings in a lot of other special people who want to become donors and get more involved with the We Met Fund. Tommy has a wonderful family, many special friends. There are a lot of folks here in this room, I'm sure, who are Wild Colonial Boys, and you know, what he does in putting together the Wild Colonial Boy group is absolutely outstanding. And as I said earlier, Tommy was able to get over 200 guests, new guests, to come to our banquet. And obviously, when you have numbers like that, there's a huge uptick in revenue, and it's like, what else can we do special for Tom? And the thought was made, let's create an permanently endowed scholarship in Tommy's name. And we did it as a surprise to Tom at the banquet that night, and he was really excited. Tom, rather than having it just in his name, wanted to have it in the name, the Riordan Family Scholarship. And he wanted to have it for a young person from Saconesset Golf Club. And again, over the next few months, so many people, friends, Wild Colonial Boys, people he's in the business with, people at Saconesset made incredible extra contributions to the Riordan Family Scholarship. And now, you know, they've got a campaign going, and they're gearing towards $200,000 to have in the Riordan Family Scholarship, and they're at 185. So please help us push it over the line. Yesterday was a special day for us. We presented the first Riordan Family Scholarship down at Saconesset, and it was a sad, tragic event, but it was also very nice to see how things can come together and work together. A young man who had been a caddy there for many years died exactly a year ago, and his mother wanted to find a way to have him remembered and honored and do something in his memory. And so they had a special outing yesterday. I know some of the people in this room supported it, and it was under the umbrella of the Riordan Family Scholarship. We were able to award a scholarship yesterday, partially with the proceeds and partially from the great contributions of the Riordan family. So a young man by the name of Dawson Prophet, who's a WeMet Scholarship alumnus, who is a engineering major up at UMass Lowell with a 3.2 GPA, plays on the varsity golf team. Does this kind of sound like Tommy? So it's something special. We're really pleased, and I know, Dawson, you would just really love this kid. He's special, and the people at Saconesset were really proud to have it. So with all of that, what I'd like to be able to do is represent the plaque that we gave to Tom and his family in June at our endowed scholarship, but have it in this framework where he can share it with his friends. And if I can show it to you, the folks that know the way we usually do our special awards, there's usually the picture of Francis and Eddie. And Francis and Eddie was on the statuette we gave Tommy last April. And you know what Tommy does at St. Andrews with the Wild Colonial Boys trips and how much he loves St. Andrews. So this is the famous picture of Francis WeMet as the first American captain of the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St. Andrews. Tommy, we put it on for you. So if I may, I'd like to welcome Tom and members of his family to come up, and we'd like to present this and share it with you all.
I got one story to tell. You know, Scott, you might not remember that, but you taught my son how to play golf. Thank you for that. But the real great story to tell is, how did you ask your wife to marry you?
Do you know this story?
Yes, I do.
You want to compare versions?
So from what I heard, he put something in the hole, and he was putting into the hole, and he said, honey, will you grab that out of the hole? And there was Yeah, he taught Sean, introduced him to the game, which I'll forever be proud of. the other thing is, in 1962, which was huge at Wollaston Golf Course, I won the caddy championship. Now, back then, you had 100 caddies, you know, and as we used to say, no one ever lost a ball to the right on 18. It was down the hill and whatever. But no one ever lost a ball there. Wollaston has been so good to me over the years. Our group of Wild Colonial Boys has been so much fun. The Weemet Fund, look what we've grown. Look at our endowments now. I'm happy to be a Weemet scholar. Thank you.
Thank you all, and we'll turn it over to Jeff next, is that correct? And